Next morning, after Julian left for the airport, I called the boutique.
I need to verify a purchase. A receipt from yesterday afternoon.
One moment. Yes, I have it here. The buyer was Chloe Williams.
Chloe Williams.
I knew that name. Julian's secretary, hired 6 months ago, early 30s, divorced. I drove to the airport. I didn't know what I was hoping to confirm. Maybe the perfume was for a client. Maybe I was overthinking this. I waited outside the International Departures Hall for half an hour. Then I saw them. Julian and her. Chloe wore a beige trench coat, pulling a small suitcase behind her. She walked beside Julian, laughing at something he'd said. Julian's face carried an expression I hadn't seen in years. Relaxed. Genuinely happy. At the security checkpoint, Chloe stopped. She reached up, casual and familiar, to straighten Julian's collar. He didn't pull away. He leaned down and whispered something in her ear. She smiled. Then she stood on her toes and kissed him on the lips. Julian's hand rested on her waist. They stayed like that for a moment before separating. Like they'd done it 1,000 times before. The last shred of self-deception evaporated. All those late nights, working. All those times he'd been irritable with me. All of it finally made sense. I watched their intimate silhouette disappear through security. A new thought crystallized in my mind. That child who wasn't mine. And this woman. Could they be connected? On the drive back, I called the private detective I'd hired.
I need you to look into someone else. Chloe Williams. I want to know everything about her, especially whether she has any children.
The detective worked fast. By the next afternoon, I had the report. Chloe Williams, 32 years old, divorced 5 years ago, one son, 9 years old, name, Alan, attending a public school in the West End. The date jumped out at me.
Chloe's son was only 1 week older than Alex.
For the first time in 10 years, I felt my blood run hot. I sat on the sofa, holding the detective's report. Then, a thought struck me. I ran to study. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Then, slowly, I typed in Chloe's birth date. The desktop opened. There was only one folder, named Work Backup. I clicked it open. Inside were subfolders organized by year, starting 11 years ago. The earliest folder contained scanned photographs. Julian and Chloe in high school uniforms, standing under a locust tree. 19-year-old Julian smiling, his arm around Chloe's shoulders. She had her hair in a ponytail looking up at him. The next photo was from college. The two of them in the library. Then their graduation photo, both in cap and gown holding hands. That was the year Julian told me the company was struggling financially. We'd canceled our anniversary trip. Instead, he bought a scarf for me. I closed the folder. The screen behind the closed folder is our wedding photo. I stared at our wedding photo and felt bile rise in my throat. Me in my white dress, lace sleeves, and long train. Holding a bouquet of white roses, Julian in his black suit, gray tie, boutonniere, both of us smiling at the camera. The photographer had made us laugh, said something stupid. We'd both cracked up, and the photo captured that moment. Pure, happy. I stared at it, at my face, so happy, so naive, so trusting.
I didn't know who that woman was anymore.
That woman who'd believed her husband, who'd made excuses for him, who'd convinced herself everything was fine. That woman was gone. Had to close my eyes. Put my hand over my mouth. The perfect couple. The perfect lie. Sick at the photos I'd just seen. Sick at the years of deception. Sick at myself for not seeing it sooner. For believing him. For trusting him. For raising a child who wasn't even mine while my real son was somewhere else. At 3 p.m., I drove to the West End. The elementary school looked even more run down than the detective had described. The dismissal bell rang. Children poured out through the gates. I sat in my car, hands gripping the steering wheel. He walked out alone. No one there to pick him up. He looked left, then right, then started walking slowly along the sidewalk. I held my breath. That child. Alan. No, my child. The way he walked reminded me of myself, a slight pigeon toe. When he raised his hand to push hair out of his face, I saw it, a birthmark on his wrist, the same place I had mine. I could see dust on his eyelashes. His lips were chapped. His sneakers were coming apart at the seams. His eyes looked empty, not like a 9-year-old's eyes at all. I covered my mouth to stop myself from making a sound. He walked away, disappearing around the corner. I collapsed over the steering wheel and broke down completely. For that child, walking home alone, for 10 years of living in the wrong life, for being such a fool, dancing in a play someone else had written. Then I wiped my tears and started the car. At the law office, I placed a USB drive on Attorney Morrison's desk. Inside, backup copies of all the photos, the DNA test results, scanned hospital records, the perfume receipt, files on Chloe and Alan. I want a divorce. I want Julian to leave with nothing. I want custody of my child.
I want him to pay for what he's done.
Walking out of the attorney's office, I remembered what Julian had said when he proposed 10 years ago.
Vivian, I will give you a lifetime of stability.
Turns out, his lifetime was only 10 years. No, probably less than that. I pulled out my phone and called the company's second largest shareholder, my father's old colleague.
Mr. Aaron, about next week's board meeting, I'd like to discuss a few things with you first.
Julian seemed to have forgotten something important. This company's name is Hart. He became general manager because I convinced my father to give him a chance. I put him in that position. I could take him down just as easily. 2 weeks after Julian left, I liquidated every asset I could convert to cash. Every afternoon, I went to that elementary school in the West End. One day, it rained. Alan didn't have an umbrella. He waited under the awning of the corner store for half an hour, then finally ran home through the downpour. I sat in my car, rain blurring the windshield. Friday afternoon, I arrived at the school early. When I saw Alan coming out, I got out of the car and walked past like a stranger. I accidentally dropped my folder in front of him. He froze for a moment, then bent down to pick it up for me.
Thank you, sweetheart. Is your mom not here yet?
He shook his head.
Mom's working late.
How are you getting home?
I'll take the bus.
I pulled an unopened bottle of water from my bag.
Have some water.
He hesitated, then took it and said,
Thank you.
I noticed he had a habit of pressing his lips together when he spoke. Just like me. His eyes were shaped like mine too. Inner double eyelids, the outer corners slightly downturned.
Does your mom work late often?
He nodded, then shook his head.
Sometimes.
What about your dad?
He didn't answer, just looked down at his shoes. Those sneakers, the soles were separating. The left shoelace was broken. I didn't ask anything more. I pulled $200 from my wallet and tucked it into his hand.
Buy yourself some new shoes.
He stepped back.
No, I can't take this.
Consider it a thank you for helping me with my folder.
I slipped the money into the side pocket of his backpack and walked away. After a few steps, I glanced back. He stood there looking lost. That evening, I stood in the doorway of Alex's room. He was playing with a new Lego set Julian had bought him. A limited edition space shuttle. Expensive.
Mom? What's wrong?
I walked in and touched his hair.
Did you finish your homework?
Finished ages ago.
He held up his model.
Dad said if I get A on my midterms, he'll take me to Disneyland.
I smiled.
That's wonderful.
The moment I turned away, the smile vanished. Julian's different treatment of the two children stabbed at my heart like a thorn. My biological son wore torn shoes and rode the bus alone, while this child enjoyed everything.